Okay, Coach, here we go. Episode 3. Have you gotten any feedback on how this show is going? Anybody talking to you about it, or is it just people telling me I gotta chill out a little bit with all these outfits?
I haven't really discussed it with anyone. I
Okay.
know a lot of people has been watching it, just talking to Katie
Okay.
and some of the people, but
No news is good news usually.
yeah, you know what? These Saturdays, man, I got a lot of preparation for these Saturdays
blame
that I
you.
got to be focused on.
I see you got the green sweatshirt on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This feels like a call to arms a little bit. Everyone, we want them in green on Saturday against Ohio State, right?
And I don't know if we're calling it a green out,
Right.
but we're obviously wearing our green
Yeah.
jerseys. We want to see a lot of green in the stands. It's going to be what a great environment, right? To see all the green, just Notre Dame fans, passionate, our students. We gotta get Obi out there. We got to paint his chest green,
This guy is taking over
he's
the
big
campus
time.
here in 48 hours, right?
Obi from Dunn Hall. That's what they told me. His name's Obi from Dunn Hall. But he's the rock star, man. He's the fan of the game, I said.
I wasn't in the stadium when it was happening, but when he was waving the shirt around, was it really as loud as everyone says?
Well, at first I didn't know what. I mean, I'm in game mode. I have my headset on, and then like a couple of times I kept hearing like the fans booing, and then they cheering and booing, and I'm like, finally I look up because it was a TV timeout, and I see Obi up there just swinging his shirt and dancing. I'm like, okay, I get it, man. And so that was a really cool, man. Just at the end of the game, just to be able to see that, the crowd going crazy. It was a cool atmosphere.
I was looking at the broadcast at the end, and it said 5 straight games with 40 points, school record for Notre Dame. I don't need to tell you, but like you said, a school record at Notre Dame, you've done something right. Yeah. How exciting is that for you as the head coach to see the offense put up 40 in, let's call it this year, 4 straight to start the year? It's got to be pretty cool.
Yeah. Man, you get so as a coach, you get so just dialed in on the details on every play that there's always something to coach and learn from. But sometimes when you pull back and look at it in a macro perspective, man, that's pretty special, and it shows the execution, but the preparation, the work that the offensive staff and our players have put into doing that.
I wanted to follow up, too, about the guy we talked to last week, Chris Tyree. One of the things I mentioned is that I don't even think he's a running back converted to wide receiver. The catch over his head, I mean, it's a great throw by Sam, obviously, but that's not a running back making the catch. That's a receiver. Like, this guy, he just continues to amaze me at how good he is at receiver. When he made that catch, did you kind of jump back and say, I can't believe Chris made that play? Or what's your reaction when you see that?
No, I wasn't surprised. But as you go back and reflect, it's a credit to his work, right? It's you're proud of the way he prepares to make sure he's ready for that moment. That moment isn't just luck, right? You don't run a great route and just put your arms out and catch the ball. It's practice, it's repetitions, and that's what Sam and Chris have really done. And to see it really manifest in a game was really great to see.
This is a unique week because you're playing high-profile team. College game days here. I want to know about being the head coach. We've talked a little bit about messaging when we talk on this show, and I think that's the part of your job I'm most interested in. How have you messaged through the first 4 weeks, knowing that this game is lurking, but you can't look ahead to it? But I imagine people did look at the schedule before the season started and knew it was there. What have you been telling everybody to keep them in the moment?
It's going to be the same thing I tell them throughout the whole year, is that you get 12 guaranteed opportunities to play this game that we work so hard for. And our job on Saturday is to really get as close to our full potential that we can. The result of that is the result of it. You win, you lose. That's the result of a lot of different things. But our focus has to be, okay, on Saturday, we want to reach our full potential. So how do we do that, right? We got to make sure Saturday, one play at a time, we execute. We win the interval is what we call it. And then when you go from there, you say, okay, how do you win the interval? Well, it starts by staying in the moment today and preparing today and winning today and having very intentional practice reps and meetings. And so that will help us get to Saturday and perform on Saturday. So the minute our players, our coaches start thinking about Saturday, it's a great reminder to, okay, we know what's coming on Saturday. Let's get back into the moment of now to make sure that we can really perform as closest to our full potential on Saturday that we can.
How do you do that? Because I hear you can do it. You're the coach. You've got the perspective. You're coaching 19 to 22-year-olds that know college game day is coming here. They read stuff. They see stuff. So how do you're able to snap back in? How do you ensure that the players, to the best of their ability, can snap back in, or your staff can help them snap back in? What things do you put in place, or how do you communicate to ensure that can take place?
It takes reps. It takes reps. It takes reps. It takes time. And so we're preaching that same message from week one.
Okay.
Right. And so the ability to catch yourself drifting, the ability to catch yourself thinking about things that really don't matter at the moment, to me is the great challenge. And so if we can catch ourselves drifting and get ourselves back, then all of a sudden we can be intentional, be in the moment, stay in the moment. And the other thing we got to do is we got to control some of that noise that distracts us from staying in the moment, right? There's distractions all over the place that take your mind to the outcome, to Saturday, to things that really don't matter. Takes you back to last year when you guys played Ohio State. All that matters is right now and what we're doing right now. And so I tell our players, control the noise, right? If you can't handle it, that noise gets you out of the moment, gets you out of what's really important, turn it down. Get off of social media. Maybe not answer a phone call. Focus on the present. And what I think that does, it takes off a lot of unnecessary pressure. When you think about winning or losing Saturday, that just adds all this pressure to you. When you think about, okay, all I got to do is stay in the moment right now and get better right now. Like, that's the pressure I got to put on myself.
Yeah.
We're going to have meetings here very soon. And you know what? We got to stay in the moment, have the greatest. All I'm challenging you to do is have the greatest meetings you can and stay present. And then as we get into Saturday, then it's going to be, hey, win the interval. It's not go beat Ohio State or go make sure at the end of the game we're winning. It's win the interval.
Yeah.
Win the interval. Win those 5 seconds.
You won a big game last year against Clemson. I'm curious just about, from your standpoint, year 2, we've talked about being year 2. Do you feel like this week with everything going on around it, like you are better prepared to handle a big game like this?
Yeah, I think just because of experience, because of, again, I'm not this coach that's been coaching for 20 years, been a head coach, but I know I'm better because of the experience I've gone through up to this point.
Yeah.
And so I know next year I'll be better than I am right now. And that's always a challenge. Can we constantly improve and build skill? But I feel like I'm much more prepared just because of the experience of however many games I've coached in before now.
I look at a guy like Sam Hartman who came here. This is going to be an awesome experience for him. This is probably one of the big reasons he came here. Is there a little bit of extra excitement for him to go out there and quarterback this team on this stage?
You know what? Macro picture, yeah. Like, I'm excited for him to go out and play against some of the best players in the country.
Yeah.
But then I'm going to pull back to how do you make sure you perform well is you have a great practice, right? And so when we think about Saturday, that's a great trigger for him to make sure I'm not worried about performing on Saturday. If I want to perform well on Saturday, I got to perform well today.
Yeah. I've been really excited about the defense. The linebacking core is super veteran. Secondary is going to get a great test this week. You're a defensive guy. We've talked so much about offense. On the defensive side of the ball, what have you liked through 4 games, and what do you encourage about showing up here this Saturday against Ohio State?
Yeah, man, those guys play hard. They play physical. They're running to the ball. They understand the details of what Coach Golden is asking them to do. And so, and some of the results have been really good, right? And I think we're 4 right now in total defense and 1 in pass efficiency defense. And so I make sure they know, man, they've done a heck of a job. And then there's always areas to improve at, right? We got to continue to eliminate penalties. We got to continue to tackle at a high level. And so they've done a tremendous job, right? And they don't need to worry about getting credit. They're going to get credit from their head coach. I'll tell you that right now, because they the way they prepare and the way they perform has been really, really good.
I wanted to ask you about penalties because it's been a little uncharacteristic last couple of weeks of this team. Have you talked about it? Have you addressed it? How do you – it seems tough to me. You wanted to play fast and physical, and you don't want to take penalties that kind of are tough to separate. What have you guys talked about after the last 2 weeks with some uncharacteristic penalties?
Yeah, it's just the understanding that the penalties that we've gotten have resulted in really negative things happening to our team, right? Defensive penalties have really equaled points for the offense, and offensive penalties have equaled punts or worse. And so let's figure out now why. What's going on within this play that you committed a penalty, and how do we attack that and fix it? And the majority of them are fundamentals, right? If my footwork is bad, if I'm an offensive lineman, it put me in a bad situation. Now I'm holding a defensive lineman or Jaden Mickey, hey, you can't grab at the top of the route, and because they found and they called it. Riley, you got to be smart. You're 1 step away from the quarterback. That's too much, so that's more, hey, understand you can't touch the quarterback right there. We got to protect him, and some are just aggressive, man. Like the Burnham one, I really don't believe that he knew who he was hitting. He's playing relentless. He's turning. Coach, you say play through the whistle.
You can live with that. Yeah, is what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, some of them you have to live with, but what we got to do is if it's a fundamental issue, then we have to correct it and really teach from it and address it in practice.
So what you're saying is not all penalties are created equal. Some are worse. Some are worse than others.
The worst is a selfish penalty,
okay.
right? And that's what I've told our team is that nobody, including the head coach, is worth 15 yards. Selfish penalties will kill football teams.
What is a selfish penalty? I mean, obviously, I would think of like taunting, helmet coming off, whatever. So what are those things that are selfish penalties?
As you said, personal fouls, like late hits. If a quarterback is getting ready to slide, you hit him, going out of bounds, head coach getting a penalty thrown on him for yelling at a ref or something like that. Those are selfish penalties. Aggressive penalties, they happen, right? Fundamental issues that we have to fix, those things happen in the game of football. That's why they call us coach. We got to address it and fix it.
This is off the wall here, but I've been saving this question for a while. We were talking about our shoes before we came on here. I don't even know brands or anything like that. I'm mostly interested in, you have a job that consumes you, I know. You've gotten questions, I think, the last couple of weeks about your blazer at the press conference. So when I leave my house, I'm colorblind. Yeah. I go to my wife. I just say, hey, am I good here? I don't have purple and blue and it's all mixed up. How do you get dressed? Like, is it all you? You're handling it yourself? You got someone helping you out? How does this all work?
Sometimes I'll pick it out. Okay. I got a wife that is, she helps me out a lot.
That's huge.
If my wife says you should wear this, then, I take her opinion.
Yeah.
Wear it. Katie's going to get mad. I mentioned her, Katie Lonergan, who's, our associate AD for communications. She's my right-hand woman, and so she helps me out sometimes with suggestions. And so it takes a community. It takes a village,
It takes a village to dress the head coach.
Yeah.
You got multiple lines of defense, which sounds good, because I sometimes leave the house and I look like just a rainbow flag. It's not good with all the different colors I can mix and match. I'll get you out of here on just this week. I'm not trying to build it up too much, but I kind of am. Like I've been looking.
All right.
I've been looking forward to this game. I'm not playing in it for a year. It's just game day is going to be here. It's a huge game. It's a huge opportunity. I imagine, and I think coaches say this a lot, like you'll look back at this game, probably regardless of the result, hopefully it's a good result, and reflect on it at some point. I need to live in the moment now. But do you take a moment throughout the week? Is there any point where you'll let yourself think, like, I'm going to run Notre Dame out of the tunnel to play my alma mater in prime time with College Game Day here? That's like a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Will you let that sink in at any point this week, or will it have to be later?
I mean, I think you have to appreciate the opportunity, right? And as I'll tell the team, like, because of their work, we're able to play in a primetime game with College Game Day here, and they've earned this right. You have to earn the right to have a primetime College Game Day game, and our players and our coaching staff has earned that right. So be appreciative of that, right? Be appreciative of that. Be grateful for it. Now, we want to make sure we have success, right? We want to make sure we perform well. So how do we do that? And that's when we got to continue to remind ourselves. We're appreciative of this opportunity. We want to perform well. Now let's do the things that it's going to take to perform well.
I can't wait. I can't wait to talk to you next week after it, but I hope you get a chance to enjoy it and have a great Saturday night, Coach. Always fun to talk to you.
Absolutely, man.
All right, we're going to bring Marist in here in a second.
All right.